Hello, and welcome to tonight's stream. So for those who have been following along, we have been working on a project known as GitReleaseManager. So it's a project that I have been involved in for a while now, but what kind of spurred us on to do some work on GitReleaseManager was that there was a couple of pull requests came in from some community members. And off the back of that, I decided it would be a good idea to basically get those pull requests merged in, but more importantly, to then get something shipped. So the first thing that was added was by a community member called Arthur, who basically added a feature into GitReleaseManager which allowed displaying of the SHA-256 hash of any assets that have been added to release notes. So that was quite a nice addition. And then Geert also added another feature which allowed for better control over the name and the tag that's used when creating a release on GitHub. So both of those things were good to get added in as quickly as possible. Off the back of that, and on Friday's stream, we looked into this issue, 136, which would allow configuration of the heading, the section that was added to the release notes. So we started that in Friday's stream, which basically added 3 additional configuration options, which allowed control over that when you're generating the release notes. So I fixed that up over the weekend, and this has been reviewed by both Kim and Arthur. So I'm going to merge this in. Basically, this is good to go. So I'm going to say we're going to go ahead and merge this pull request here. And normally I would write thank you for your contribution, but it was me that did it, so we don't necessarily need to do that. But that will hopefully close off this issue 136, and then that's already on the 090 milestone, and it's added as an improvement, which it is. Now, as a result of doing that, 090, all the issues that are flagged as being on the 090 release have been completed. So technically, there are... Hello, Kim, on the chat room. Good to see you. Virtually. Technically, all the issues that have been allocated onto this milestone are completed. So it's kind of ready to go. So I thought on this stream, we would look at preparing for that release so that we can ship something. Now, there's definitely some other things that I would like to get into GitReleaseManager release, but I'm tempted to say that we should maybe just push this one out, because there's a couple of things that I know that folks are waiting on, and then we can come back and complete some other stuff. So tonight's stream was going to be about getting to a point where we're ready for that. So one of the things I do need to do, though, before we do that, is we need to add some documentation. Now, nobody likes writing documentation, I realise that, but we have added a couple of additional configuration options, so I think it would make sense to capture those in the documentation. And then, Kim, what I think I want to do is I want to pull in the latest cake.recipe to build GitReleaseManager. Drum roll, please. The reason that I want to do that is because I want to play with this GitHub packages. I want to push the nutkegs that are created from the build to here, I think. I want to play with that. Now, I know I can do that technically with cake.recipe, the official version, the released version, but using the next version of cake.recipe, which is currently in beta, I would be able to push packages both to my get, which is where they're currently going just now, and to here. So I would have both of them. So I want to play with that, I think. And so we need to get there. So I don't know if you saw it, Kim, but I've just merged the pull request that was adding the configuration. So I'm going to pull that down locally. So over here, I should be able to do So I've started working on the documentation. So if I close this out and look back at here, then I have started doing some of the docs. So maybe let's just put this in. So let's do, this is going to be 134. Add new config options. I need to add some additional documentation to say what each of those are for, but they've at least been added in. So I'm going to close that out just now, and I'm going to go git checkout, git switch to develop. We're going to do a git fetch upstream. And I should say, welcome, I rebased your commits out of the PR branch, but I also co-authored you in the rebase commit. So thanks for the help that you, for the review that you did earlier today. So Arthur's just joined the chat room. Hello, Arthur. Good to see you. And Stevie's just joined as well. Publishing GitHub packages is fun. So, yeah. I'm going to give it a try, I think. Now, there's a slight complexity that I'm not sure how we're going to handle yet, but we're going to try it. That complexity being that there's also a chocolatey package for GitReleaseManager, and I don't think we can push... Well, we can push a chocolatey package there, but it wouldn't be consumable from GitHub packages as is. So, we need to play with that. Stevie's sending me a link, which I'm going to assume that this is safer work, Stevie. And actions test. So you can push with chocolate, but you can't consume from there. Okay, so that's good to know. So what is this? This is a actions test repo to play with GitHub Actions. So I'm going to assume in here, publish chocolate package, chocolate source add. So yeah, this is similar to what I've seen before. Yes. And then you added the API key, which was the tool. Oh, good to know. Okay. And then you can publish it from there. So we'll come back to that because I think in the latest cake.recipe we should be able to do this, but we'll come back to it. So what I was going to do was I was here, I was merging, I fetched upstream, and then I'm going to do a git rebase upstream develop. And then we're going to push that to the origin so that we have it. And then I'm going to go back to my docs branch. So git switch docs gh134. And then we're going to rebase that onto the develop so that we're ahead of it. Unlink of... oh, I know what that is. That'll be this, because it's still running. So let's try that again. Should I retry? Yes, please. There we go. So then we open up code. So just before I came on stream, I was looking at what I need to do to make some of the documentation that I have compliant with Markdown lint. So Markdown is a specification, and Markdown lint is an extension for Visual Studio Code that basically lights up and says when things aren't compliant. So some of the things in here are quite simple in that the recommended guideline for line width is 80 characters. So that's what all these yellow things here are. But what I started off in the background was YAM. So YAM is the tool that I'm using to generate the docs. So if I look over here, this is the generated output. So I was quickly going to run through the docs to make sure that all the Markdown linting is fixed, and then I was going to add the additional information for the configuration options that we added as a result of Arthur's PR for the adding of the SHA-256 hashes. And what that done, I was looking at publishing it. So let's have a, now that's one thing I'm going to have to look up. Visual Studio Code, VS Code, ruler guideline. I know you can do this to get a vertical line to a certain split. So where's the answer that I'm looking for? Editor rules 80 and 120. That's what I want. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to look at here and I'm going to say settings and I'm going to say open workspace settings. And I'm going to say editor, what was it called? Editor rulers. Can I search for it like that? I can. Edit in settings of JSON file. So then in here, I'm going to put editor rules at 80. So then when I go back to here, oh, I need a comma. Or I used, there we go. So then I can get a vertical thing, which is here. And then if I do that, then we shouldn't have broken anything in the add assets page. So if we go back to here and look at the, oh, it's still loading, add assets. Beautiful. So it's still rendering correctly, but I've fixed the markdown lint, which was that the line was too long. So let's just rattle through some of these and make sure that everybody's happy. And then this will just make it easier for maintaining going forward, hopefully. And nothing interesting one. Let's see how that renders. That's the example. Not sure I like that rendered like that, so I'm going to put that one back up because, so I'm going to ignore that one because it's within a code block. So I'm okay with that. So then this one, and was that already? There we go. So this is not particularly exciting, but documentation is a necessary evil. So we'll just get it done, and then we'll get on to the actual publishing of it. And those ones I'm okay with. Back to the top here. And then take it from and then so Arthur, you mentioned on GitHub that you needed the functionality that you added because you were looking to do some pushing to Homebrew. Is that right? Have you got any information about the requirement there that you're needing it for? Because we as the Cake team also publish the Homebrew, so I'm curious as to why or what you need to do in order to do that push. Assuming that you're still in the chat room, it would be good to know. Oh, you are still there. So they now want the SHA as part of the formula, or as part of the PR, or where do you need it? Because we've got a release of Cake coming up soon, and we will likely need to do that too then. It's part of your. Good to know. And then, have you tried pushing something already that they pushed back on, or is it just something that you've read that is now a requirement? This one. Getting there. I'm sure there's a quicker way of doing this, but we're almost here now. Interesting. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to set this one. So that's something that we may need to do for Cake then in the next release as well. So that's those. And then, but it's something that, in all honesty, it's something that GitHub itself should do. So I don't know if there's an open issue about it or providing that functionality natively. I don't know. Because it's kind of something that they should do. Put this one down there. But all the code that you added, Arthur, should now be there. I don't know if you had a chance to play with it yet, but it should be there ready to be playing with. That's complaining about something else, so we'll do that later. Default configuration is the one we will be adding information to. So I missed that. So literally, I want to get the documentation done. So I'm just wanting to tidy up the documentation. So basically, let me rephrase that slightly. I've switched the documentation for GitReleaseManager away from read the docs and also away from what was the other one? readme.io, and I've switched it over to use YAML. So I want to get the documentation to a place that I'm happy with it, and then I am going to publish a release. So the 090 release of GitReleaseManager will include essentially what was your PR and what was Geert's PR, and then the PR that I followed up with, which was the thing, the ability to configure that information, to configure that, to configure the generated SHAs that got added to the release notes. So I also want to enable publishing of the generated nutkegs to both GitHub package repository and also to MyGet. So basically push it to two places. Now I can do that as part of cake.recipe, the next version of cake.recipe. So once I get these docs updated, I'm going to attempt to switch over to use the latest pre-release version of cake.recipe, configure publishing of the artifacts to both MyGet and GitHub package repository, and then at that point, assuming all of that works, I will then do a release. So hopefully it won't take too long. I'm sort of hopeful to get it done tonight, but if it's not done tonight, it'll be very quickly after that. So you should be in a position to start using it quite soon, he says, hopefully, assuming nothing goes wrong. Famous last words and all that. So here. There's one other feature that I would really like to get added in, but I'm going to do that as a separate release. Do the Git tools. So, unless you know something that... Okay, so let me ask you this. My understanding of how the GitHub package repository works is that whatever is in the repository URL is where the package will be published to. Now, I spoke with the GitHub team and asked them to make it not work like that, but it obviously fell on deaf ears because I would have liked to have just pushed to a specific URL and had the package appear there. So I'm curious about your question as to if you know something that I don't. So where would you see the package appearing? Maybe let's start with that. Where would you want the package to appear on GitHub? Because I think based on the repository URL, it would be on the GitHub project that is GitReleaseManager. But so how would so again, clarify that. What do you mean by in the org? I mean, I would envision that the package would appear here. 0 packages. Where do you see it? Or you see it appearing here? But does me publishing to GitReleaseManager repository automatically make it appear at the organization? If not, how do I push it to the organization? What do I set the repository URL to? I mean, I'm happy for it to appear here, but I don't know how I would push to here. I mean, I would love it to appear here, because if it appeared here automatically by me pushing to the repository, that's great. That's kind of what I want. But I think we might need to play with that. Have you pushed anything to GitHub package repository yet? Not yet. Okay. So we might investigate that, because I played around with pushing one of my Kate Contrib projects to it, but it caused all kinds of problems because, like I say, I'd assumed that it would appear somewhere and it didn't appear, and it, like I say, it came down to the order of precedence between what is in the repository URL and what was the project URL within the new spec file. And like I say, I think they've standardized now on the fact that it will be whatever the repository URL is configured to. But that's something that we might have to play with to make sure of that. It's on your list. Have you got a list too? I've got a list. I've got a list of things that I need to be getting on with too. But maybe if we can get GitReleaseManager publishing there, and we can also get Git version pushed up there too. And also, while you're here as well, Arthur, I'm just gonna pick on you because you're in the chat room and you're available to talk to. talk to me about the use Git version GitHub action. What does it do, or what is it intended to do, and why would I use that over just doing a .NET tool install of Git version? Yeah, no, I saw the issue where you commented that to someone because they were looking to use it. I totally understand that it's in progress. My curiosity is, like, say, why would I use that rather than just .NET tool install? Similar to the V6 extensions. I don't know if I'm familiar with the V6 extensions. Let's see what Arthur can back there. Probably me just being naive about something. That's part of what this part of what the stream is about, is for me to find out stuff as well. So, it looks like it's got a bug in it. I feel we're almost there with all of these changes, or at least this bug, or this linting error anyway. It's not complaining, I'm going to put it down anyway. And then put this here, and that there. Just send that link. Oh. Cancel. Copy clipboard. So does this V6 extension actually install Git version as part of the build task? Is that what I'm missing? I mean, I normally just do things with Cake, but for folks that aren't using Cake, I could see why that would be useful. In which case, the GitHub action downloads the version. Got you. Okay, so let me see. Got you. And then you can configure the arguments that go into it as well. Okay, I can see that. So the GitHub action is essentially that. So in a GitHub action, you would specify that you want to download, install, and then execute Git version as part of your workflow that is your GitHub action. I can see that. So does that mean that you are... Okay, so follow-up question. Does that then mean that the GitHub action is going to do a... Are you going to use a pre-baked Docker image that already has Git version installed, well, no, you couldn't really do that because you would need to. Well, I guess you could, but you would need one for each of the main distros. But if you just it did the install, then it wouldn't matter. So having a pre-baked Docker image wouldn't really make sense, I guess. I'm just talking to myself now. I think this is the last file that I need to update. I'm getting there. And then we're on to the actual new documentation. And then we can look at the build process. And then it's using Node.js version of the actions, not Docker, as it can be used on macOS as well. Fair? You can see that. I can see that. GitReleaseManager. There we go. Okay, good. So all of those changes are just going to be a doc markdown lint fixes. And if I come back to here and I look like I haven't broken anything, so if we go to the configuration, then the default configuration has now got these things. Oh, that's something I was going to fix. Should maybe run that as a test to see what that looks like. So let's write out the configuration options to start with. So where did that go? So that's in docs, and then configuration, and then default configuration. So I need to add a new section in here, which was going to be for the include SHA section. So this is going to be similar to the include footer. So what we said was Boolean value which indicates that the calculated SHA-256 hash of the assets which are added to a release should be included within the release notes. And the default that we made it was default is false. Then we had another section which was the SHA section heading. And we need both of those things. Let's just take this out, copy. So we can put this in here, and then cut that out and put it into there. And then we're going to say default is, let's make that code block. Why are you complaining? And that's fine. And then the other one is the SHA section line format, which we can put here. We can say this one, cut this, put it up here, we can say default is. Will that work? I may need to put that in triple brackets. Let's see how that flows through. That didn't work. So let's try and do that. Or I may need to escape the backtick. How do I escape a backtick? Markdown. Escape. Backtick. Do I just throw another one in? Okay, so let's try that one. So that one. If in doubt, throw in another backtick. That one. Interesting. It's just a space I needed to remove. Curious. Interesting. Okay. I'm good with that. Default heading. So what do we say for heading? A string value. A string value which contains the heading text for the SHA-256 hash section. Default is that. And in the line format, a string value which contains the .NET string format value which will be used when creating the SHA-256 hash entries in the release notes. And what we should say is note this configuration option was added in version 0.9.0 of GitReleaseManager. Copy, paste, paste. Let's see how that looks. Okay. I think that's good. Now, the thing that I wanted to check was, this is going to be gh-134 add docs about options. So that. So what I wanted to check was at least, I'm going to run the new Git Release Manager at least one more time. So if I go over to github.com/gittools Git Release Manager, and then we look at, no, that's not what it's the other one that I'm using, which is git13/fake repository. So in here, we look at releases, and I'm going to say discard draft, and I am going to say that Now, did I? I'm going to go off stream just for a little bit, to remember what I called an environment variable that I think's got my GitHub token in it. So give me 1 sec. Give me a second, Kim. Okay, sorry, that's me back. Any particular linting errors that I missed? I thought I got the main ones, but I'm happy to fix the other ones if there are some there. What I was going to do was I was going to do one last check of the new functionality that was added to see what it actually looks like, because I think there is a bug in the code. So I'm going to do... that wasn't... I didn't mean to go away that time. Build artifacts. If I look in... Okay, we'll go through them all again and see if see what I've missed. So let's do a build at least once to generate the output. And I guess while we're waiting, so there is this one, no bare URLs. Should that be in a code block? Oh, I saw that there was one. I should fix that, yes. So that one there. Oh, indicator, there's a typo there as well. Need to fix that. So the other one is regarding a bare. So what is the correct thing to do in here? Just wrap the URL in. Let's have a look. Like that. Look at that. Good to know. Okay. Thank you very much. So what I want to verify is what the generate output looks like with the default configuration. And I think there's a bug in the code because the code is still trying to italicize the heading, whereas I've now promoted it to an actual heading within the markdown. So I want to verify what that looks like. So let's just have a look at that. And then that leaves us about an hour and a quarter to publish this thing to the Git tools organization on GitHub to see what that does. Because I'm glad that you come back, Kim, because I'm hoping that you might remember what we did with Cake.recipe to allow publishing of publishing to multiple places at the same time. Because I know we did it. I don't necessarily remember how that works. So I should make this PowerShell a little bit smaller again so that everybody can see it. You notice that as well. I need to fix that too. That's not necessarily needed for this release. But I did notice that it wasn't doing the whole code coverage thing correctly. But if we go into build artifacts and we look in temp and we look in published applications, and we look in GitReleaseManager, we look in .NET, and we look in the .NET GitReleaseManager.exe, and the first thing I wanted to check was this. So it has all of the things in there, but it's got this it's got this as the default in here, but I don't think that's going to be respected. So if we do same thing again, but this time we'll do a create, and the milestone is going to be v 0.1.2. The token is going to be env. I've already forgotten what it was called. Git tools, GitHub password. The owner is going to be get13. The repository is going to be fake repository. What else do I need? I need the milestone, the token, the owner, repository. Is that it? Oh, the assets. That would be good. An asset would be good. So that's going to have created an empty one, which is not going to. We have to discard that. And then we're also going to need to add a configuration file. So let's go back to here and do -a c temp test.txt. Let's make sure that works. So that, if we refresh it, we'll have added the asset, but it won't have generated the text because the text is contingent on the YAML file being there. So now if we go into here and go up to, let's maybe borrow this one. So we go up to here, we go into here, we go into temp, we go into publish applications, we go into here, we go into here, and we paste that in there. We then have a look at new window. It's not going to let me. Is it? No. I just want to edit the YAML file. File, open, build artifacts, temp, publish applications, CLI, and then the YAML file. So that's that. So now if we run this again, it should hopefully generate it with the text in it. So if we come up to here, didn't do it. Now what did I decide? Or what did we decide? It had to be at the, oh, it was the point where you were generating it from. So it's in GitReleaseManager. So we needed to pick that up again. And we need to put it here. So edit that, discard it. One more time. Run that. He says, beautiful. Release. Now we've got it. There we go. And if we look at the generated, oh, it does have it. So, what does it look like? Does it actually have it in effect? No, it's not. Build parameters. Yeah, but the thing that I'm trying to remember, Kim, is whether we accounted for the fact that we need to provide a username and password for the feed, because it's an authenticated feed that doesn't use an API key. I think we did account for that. I just can't remember. So that was the main thing that I was going to dig into. So let's remove that. And I'm going to say doc markdown link fixes. Add that. And then let's do a little search here for underscore underscore. That doesn't really help. I'm going to take this out because I don't think they are actually doing anything anymore. And then we'll take this one out as well. And we shall say, which one is that? Was that 134 as well? All requests. Or 136. 136. We'll say GH-136. Fix default value. The underscore wasn't actually doing anything since heading was promoted to markdown heading. Put that to this one. Ooh, Kim's got a link. That's a good sign. So if we do git switch to develop, git merge, no ff of docs there. We'll have to kill YAM again. We'll say yes. And we'll do a git push upstream. And we will do a git push origin. Okay. So I'm going to create a new issue, which is going to be a build issue, which is going to be add publishing of artifacts to GitHub package repository. This is the aim. And sure, this is going to be a build one. And this is going to be onto the 090. So all the work that we're going to be doing is going to go into this one. So this is 141. So the first thing that I noticed regarding this was in the new spec, we have a GitReleaseManager new spec file. No issue temp. Oh, I see. I should have some issue templates. Now let's not chase a little squirrel down a rabbit hole. Let's concentrate on what we're doing, and we'll take a note to fix stuff like that. I've got a committers and a contributing.md, but I haven't got an issue template. As part of the refactoring that Arthur did to include the a .NET Global tool, if we look at the current recipe.cake file, then we'll see that should run .NET Core Pack is true. So that means that this new spec file in here isn't actually being used anymore. So I'm going to nuke that one from orbit. Right? Then I'm going to update the csproj files to include the new NuGet metadata, which will make it possible to publish to GitHub package repository. Instead of packages. Yes, I noticed that as well. I haven't played with that yet, but I did notice that there's now a ability to add a link. Yes, I did notice that. Also making use of the latest changes for issue templates, configuring links instead of packages. Yes, I saw a blog post about that, I think, but I haven't played with it yet. So, what was I doing? Yeah, this is 141. GH141. Remove NuGet new spec file. This is no longer being used since the since .NET Core pack is doing the work. Doing the. I'll get there. There we go. Oh. Okay, and then I played a little with it. Ooh. Oh, let's have a look then. Hold on. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so obviously that's just going to go to there. But let's have a little look at what we've got in here. Issue template. Oh, there's a new no, can't be that. Issue template. There's a config.yaml file there. Look at that. Oh, and that is what takes away the what's normally the last option, which is oh, look at that. Yes, I saw that one. Totally stealing that. Sorry, totally stealing that. Job for a different day though, not just now. So, where was I? Perfect. So I removed that new spec file, which I notice is no longer being used at all. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to go into the csproj file for the thing. I'm going to have to remind myself what we're actually publishing. So NuGet.org, if we do a little search here for GitReleaseManager, and we put an A in the right place, then we have, so it is just the two things that we have. So interesting. Then what have we got in the build artifacts, packages, NuGet? Okay, good. So it is just GitReleaseManager and the tool in that one. Okay. So that means that we need to change this csproj file and this csproj file. So we should do a few things at the same time. The first is I'm going to go back over here to Kim's project, and I'm going to steal some stuff. So I'm going to assume that in his source directory and in his tag helpers, he has a csproj file, and I'm going to assume that he has this in it. So this is what I want. So I'm going to take these, and I'm going to assume that there's nothing in here called repository, which there's not. I'm going to put these in here. Now obviously I'm going to update the URL to be to here. I will give you some credit. It's these kind of things. I don't know about anybody else, but I never remember what they're meant to be. So the repository URL is going to be that, and I also think I'm going to take the opportunity to fix the icon as well and make it an embedded thingy. Which, if I go to it's all good. It's all good. I'm going to go over to another repository and steal some other stuff. So if I walk up to this one and I do cake.issues.something. Oh, hold on. Price was still in. That's true. If I have a look at here, then yeah, look, he's done this. But that's in the new spec rather than the csproj file. So there's a couple of things we're going to need to change here. I'm going to have to look this one up. csproj, unless you happen to know of a I don't suppose anyone knows if they're of an example of embedding a package icon into the CSproj file. CSproj file, package icon, embed. I save my code at the corral. Should be safe from there from bandits. So look at this. And this is what I'm going to do. Blah, 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 blah. I can never remember the export elements by itself, which is why I like the VS Code extension. Oh, hold on. This makes things easier. Let's have a look. Oh, this is Tintoy. Oh, I know Tintoy. Tintoy is one of the people behind the language server protocol because this extension actually uses the language server protocol for doing a bunch of stuff. We should absolutely install this. This is VS Code. Yes. So let's do extensions. I actually did know about this extension. Here. No. Which one is the I'll share? That's the one. MS Build Project Tools. Yes. Install. So what is this? This is going to give me highlighting of, or it should give me completions, I think, for the elements within this CSproj file. So if we go back over here and we look at, so the first thing it should give us then is package. Doesn't have every element. I was going to look for the license one. Is that one going to be in the license expression? Copyright. There, that's not the word. But that's in new spec. Okay. So, package license. That one. Thank you very much. So, package license expression is going to be MIT. And let's see if it has package icon URL. So it's not got it. Okay, so it's got some of them, but not all of them. So I'll leave that extension installed because it makes sense. But let's self-contained NuGet packages. That's what we want to do. Blah, blah, blah. That's the new spec. Or is that? No, that's not the new spec. Maybe I need to restart. Let's restart it then. Back to here. Open it up again. Let's run it again. Package. Oh, initializing MS Build tools. Look. Oh. No. Don't know then. Anyway, I need to find an example. So who would have an example? We do it in. What's the URL that? Maybe Cake itself will have it. I thought we were doing everything in new specs, but we recently. Or did we? I thought we were doing it here. No, I bet we're still doing it over on. There we are. That's unfortunate. Okay. There must be documentation on this. NuGet embed icon. How to add an icon to a NuGet package. It can't be that hard. Press the wrong button. Icon. Here we go. Oh, that's the new spec reference. I want to do the same thing in a CSproj file. NuGet CSproj package icon. Oh, but there's something that I have to do. Maybe I won't do the icon just now. There's something about support of... It's not something that you have to build with a specific .NET something or other to make it work. You know what? I'll leave that one. Let's leave the package icon URL. We've got the package license expression. We've got the repository URL. Those were the two main ones that I wanted. So let's put that. I wasn't ignoring your question about the CSproj. Oh, do I have to do it there too? Or does it share the generated information? No, it can't be. Doesn't seem to have much in the way of... I wonder... I'm going to run that build again and see what that does. Build.ps1, and then we go to this one, and then we say choco, install NuGet package explorer. And let's see what we get to. So I don't know. Do you think we can merge those two CSproj? Oh, sorry, that was a question from Arthur. I thought it was Kim. Do you think we can merge those two CSproj files similar to how Cake did? To answer your question, Arthur, I genuinely don't know. I wasn't involved in that part of it. So, if we can, I would like it, but I genuinely don't know how to do it. I'll be honest. Oh, I see. So you put the information into one place. Okay, I can see that. Excuse me. Does that work? NuGet that. So then I'm going to open a local package once the build finishes. So if we go up to here, and we're going to say here, GitHub, organizations, Git tools, GitReleaseManager, build artifacts. We're getting there. So So now we've got some packages. Almost. Here's NuGet. And there's the tool. So let's see. Let's look at this one and see if some of that information came through. So the repository URL came through there, and the license is an MIT. So, okay, good. File, open, and let's have a look at the. Where's that one? Packages, NuGet. Oh, what did I break? Oh. That new spec file was being used. I think I want to revert a commit. How is that? I must have missed something there then. Why was, and that would explain why it doesn't have the things in it. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Interesting. I need to put that new spec file back. So what were we doing here? So we added so gh hyphen what did I say? 141. Add additional NuGet metadata, right? And let's go to here. Let's refresh this, and I'm going to revert this bad boy. Revert this commit. And then, if we have a look in here now, then we need, so then this, we could do it in here then. So now that we have this, I need to do the same thing that we did before, which was for the license expression. So this information we can use from the example that we had up here. So its new spec is here. So in here we would have this license. So the license URL there is replaced with that. And then the repository is this guy. So let's put this in here. GitHub.com /git tools GitReleaseManager.git. Beautiful. Git tools. Right. So let's do, let's do that first. And then let's do this, which is to gh141, add NuGet metadata. Okay, so let's try that build again. And we'll look again at the generated. So in here, we had the license expressions, what we wanted, and we had the repository, which was to there. So with that stuff in play, we would then need to look at we would then need to look at adding the latest version of cake.recipe. So if we walk up to here, which is my get, and we come over here, and we what is that? We do this, and then over to password. See if I can get logged in. Verify. Click. And then we come. So I haven't forgotten about the icon, but the fact that I could do it on one but not the other without doing some digging, I'm inclined just to leave it for now. I know that's terrible, but I want to get the publishing working is my main focus tonight. So I'm going to say that we can come back to fix the icon, if that makes sense. So the current version of cake.recipe is here, and it's 57. Okay, so I'm going to say that that build is finished, getting close. So now if we do a file open from here, GitHub, organizations, Git tools, GitReleaseManager, build artifacts, not quite there yet. Packages, NuGet, GitReleaseManager. Then it's also got a repository URL and a license expression. Good. So I'm going to say that we have everything we need from that point of view. So now what we need to do is we need to pull in the latest version of cake.recipe. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to say I totally should know this format, but I don't. Cakebuild.net, documentation, fundamentals, preprocessor directives, and I want to take it from, so it's after the colon, here. And that wants to be the feed details, which is this one. I'm going to pull that one, put that in there, package cake.recipe, and the version, we will pin it. The version is going to be pinned to cake.recipe and here. I missed a 7 off the end. 7. So if we do that and we run the build again, try to remember how much stuff we break. So at least a couple of things. Git version.yaml file being one of them. But you don't have a git version.yaml file, so we're good. Just the default. I have no good reason to not use the v3 feed. None. I'm even trying to think of a lie. I can't think of anything. It's just in my nature. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Just a bad habit. Yeah. Oh my goodness, what's that? Whoops. I wasn't expecting that. Oh no, hold on. I know. Hold on. I know. Get tools, GitReleaseManager. Let's start from the very beginning. Let's just nuke all of these. Nuke. And nuke. And in here, we're going to bump to 35. Sort it. Let's do it. Let's do it. See what happens. What now? No scripts found. Hold on. I wasn't expecting it to be as quite badly broken as this. Part 3. Could well be. In the bootstrapper. There's definitely some changes in here because that was no longer needed. Publish chocolate packages task. Oh, that was the changes that you added in. Because we don't have those anymore. There is no, it's just publish packages now, isn't it? Publish, I think it was just packages. I think. Does not contain a definition for publish package. What was it then? Oh, hold on. Ampersand pre-release. Oh no. I was totally reading that wrong. It's good practice to put that in there. Kit.recipe, content, packages, create new Git packages, publish. Oh, it's too soon. So then the question becomes, I think it's maybe this one then. Publish release packages. So before it said publish chocolatey packages, and it said publish myget packages. So myget, yeah. Publish. What would we do? Copy. Publish. No. This one. Copy. Paste. Publish. Release packages. I think. And if that works, then we need to mess around with some settings. Because we need to add a new destination source. Do you have that URL handy that you had earlier, Kim? Which was for, or the code that you had for creating a new package source, a new pre-release package source. Because I didn't take a note of it. And then we need to look at configuration to see whether what I need to put in to make it work. So in my build artifacts, so far so good. The CLI is still there, the tool's still there, core's still there. So assuming that all of this works, there we go. So copy this in here. API key, user, and password. So for the one that I'm going to be adding, it's just a user and a password. And I need to pick a user to put in there. We'll come to that. And then the code is build parameters package source.add. Oh, I can't copy that. Irk. But let's go back in here and say that all this is still working. Build. Build. Analyze. What's that saying? Interesting. Copy. Paste. Sources.add. Okay. So it's still generating my chocolate package. It's still generating both of those. Okay. So if we go back, so the build is working. So if we go back to somewhere in here, then what you're saying is build parameters dot package sources dot add new package source data context source name GitHub package repository URL. I need to find a URL. Feed type dot NuGet, and the final parameter was whether or not it is a release. So this is going to be for our pre-release, which is false. So now we need to know, so GitHub package repository, GitHub package repository, push package. This one. Then again, publishing a package. We are going to set it up. So our source here is going to be like this. So this here is going to be NuGet package.github.com owner git tools. Is that right? It's going to be a NuGet and it's going to be false. Let's just check to see if that kind of works. Let's just compile it, make sure we didn't break anything. Beautiful. Okay. So, with that in play, I need to add 3. I need to add some new environment variables into this CI project. So CI, I'm going to go off screen so that I'm not leaking anything that I shouldn't be. So if I log into AppVer over on this screen, whoa, it's not really something I want to. There we go. I think it's both. It's both. So if I go to the settings for this project and look at my environment variables, then currently we have environment variables set up for myget and for NuGet. Now, if I remember how we set this up, Kim, we said that we would accept those as default for chocolatey packages and for NuGet packages, but we would allow adding new things. And the other link that you sent me was to something, which was the credentials. So credentials stuff was that in here? The link before that one. Oh, hold on. This one. Copy it, clipboard. This one. Aha, perfect. So it's already got the underscores and things in it. So if I go into here and I say add variable, GitHub package repository underscore user needs to be something. And then GPR underscore password needs to be something. And if we go back to this, then it is a token that it's looking for. So, what do we have? Ooh, I has one. Copy password. Put that in there and get tools. Maybes. Get tools. There's a hyphen. Not underscore. Okay, so I'm going to save that. So off screen, I have added what I think are the credentials that will allow publishing to this new URL that we've just created. So if we go up here and have a look at what we've actually changed, then we're going to say gh-141. What have we actually done? Here we have start using latest cake.recipe. Updated to latest pre-release of cake.recipe. Nope. Updated recipe to fit with breaking. To fit with breaking changes and added new GitHub package repository pre-release package source. Okay, so we broke it up. So it's not going to attempt publishing the chocolatey packages there yet, because if for that to work, we would need to add it also as a feed type for chocolatey. But let's work on getting the NuGet packages publishing first. So I'm gonna try it. So let's see what happens, shall we? Let's just go for it. So GitReleaseManager is here. If we go up to here and we say git push upstream, then I don't know. Arthur, are you still on the line? Let's see what happens. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Let's go to some of these pages. Keep my get. Might need that. Close off these ones. And close off the Wormy Corp because we finished stealing all that stuff. We finished editing the local NuGet. You can go away just now as well. So what we're publishing to. Okay. That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good at all. Restoring build cache. It's going to be that. I think. Is it? I was suspecting caching as well. Do I have that open? Hold on. Maybe do. Oh, hold on. I know what it was. In our appfair.yaml file, it's no longer appfair. It is the thing that I could never spell. Continuous integration is what I renamed it, I think. Let's go try gh-141 update default target. Cake.recipe is no longer coupled directly to appfair, and instead more generic continuous integration target is the default. So close. Maybes. I like being explicit about certain things, and spelling out continuous integration is one of them. Let's push this to the origin as well so that it's not on this machine. Let's push it up. Let's try this again. Second time lucky? Are we going to need a third time? We might need a third time. So, and let's have this page open, and let's also have this page open. No, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Well, that looks better though, because it's got the bouncy castle error, or warning, I should say. So ASCII art for the win. Maybes. Not today. You're talking about Rico Cam. I can never say his second name. You're talking about Rico's new cake GitHub action. We probably should do that. And Mateus has just enabled that for the cake repository itself. So we're now building cake with cake on GitHub Actions. So if we go over and we'll look at cake here, we added in a GitHub Actions build for cake, and if we have a look at what is happening there, then we have a new workflow in here that is filtering to only the main and develop branch. It has a matrix for Windows latest, Ubuntu latest, and macOS latest, and it's got two steps in it. The first is to check out the code, and then the other one is to use Enrico's action and just call the cake script. So it's really quite simple. So yeah, we probably should at some point. Maybe not today. I want to get this publishing. If I can get this publishing, then we'll publish so that Arthur has a version of GitReleaseManager that he can use for publishing Git version to Homebrew, and then we can start look, because there's a few things we've spoken about tonight, so I probably should have written these things down. So what we've spoken about is package icon for the new Git package. We've spoken about a GitHub action build. We have spoken about what other things that we speak about? Issue templates for the repository. Templates for repo. Have I forgotten anything? Then cake.recipe could update the Git version, and GitReleaseManager update the unstable. So that's a little bit of meta. Oh, hold on. Uploading artifacts. Uploading artifacts. Well, that's the artifacts. Publishing pre-release packages. Number of chocolate sources 1. Number of pre-release new Git patch sources 2. Oh, it said something on your token. Oh my God. Was worried that was going to happen. So it's pushed it to my Git, but the pushing to there, no API key was provided and no API key was found. Save an API key. Pushing GitReleaseManager is here. Your token has not been granted the required scopes to execute this query. See, I was worried about that. So let's go and hold on. I need to update that token. I suspect that the GitHub package repository needs an additional scope, and I don't have that scope on an older generated token. But if I go to github.com and I sign in with the user that I'm trying to use, so that is this guy. I'll need a password for him. So again, I'm off screen just now so that I can do some stuff. But I don't have the password. Wait 1 sec. I'm going to go off to another machine. I'm going to have to start up a VM to grab a... I'm going to need to boot up my Windows VM to get a password. But I'm not going to copy that over to here, am I? Oh, it's so hard. Let's just do it on this screen then. So while I'm doing all of that, did I miss anything, Kim, in the things I said I was going to do? So package icon, GitHub Actions build, issue templates for the repository. Did I forget anything? Work with me. Okay. So those were the main things. So if I go to new incognito mode, get this one, and close that. So over here and go to github.com, and I'm going to sign in this guy, and I'm going to sign in this guy. Sign in. Device verification. They've just sent me an email. Outlook. See if I can find the email that just got sent. So over here, please verify your device. Using room. Copy. Two-factor authentication is great until you're in the middle of doing something and you just want it to work. So if I go up to settings and I go to developer settings, personal access tokens, and then I say generate new token. So write packages and read packages. So let's call this CLI access with GitHub package repository. Generate token. So you said read and write packages. Okay, generate token. Copy. Over here and say this one. Edit. And then say GPR access. Paste. I'm going to take copy there and save. And then I walk up to ci.appbear.com and I GitHub it, and I go back to the environment variables for the CI build on AppVear. I'm fairly sure, based on what I have read, I'm happy with that as well. So let's go to Git Tools. Oh, it's so slow. Settings. Environment variables. Scroll down to this guy and say nope. Okay. Make that and then hit save. Okay, so we've added that in now. So then the question becomes, I could just rerun the build, but then potentially the package that's in my Git will be there and cause another build failure. So get to this one, so it would be safer just to have another commit. So is there something quickly that I can change that would mean that we get a new build, but it is not a huge amount of work? So my Git override versions. Well, we'll try it. Okay, let's try it. Let's rebuild the commit. Fingers crossed. I think something tells me that it does as well. But while that's building, let's also have a look at something that we can maybe change. So, what can we change? Is there any more docs that we can add? I do need to put some descriptions in. Let's maybe have that as a fallback. Because the docs aren't fully flushed out yet. It's nothing to stop the release, but we could maybe add some descriptions onto the pages, because it's not currently showing any descriptions. .NET Core build. So what I mean by that is, if we go back to localhost HTTP. So I haven't knowingly configured my Git to not allow that to happen. So let's work on the assumption then, Kim, that I haven't knowingly changed it, but I'm also not directly in charge of the feed for Git tools. It's actually Geert that owns that. So, because otherwise I would have just went in and deleted the package. But I don't have direct access to that particular feed. I don't know if Arthur does. I don't even know if Arthur's still on the chat or not. So let's try it. Let's try it. If not, like I say, what we can do once YAN does its thing is we could add some descriptions into, let's just inspect code. Oh, that was Martin. Interesting. I just saw a commit go into GitHub, and I'm like, who was the thing with that? But it must be Martin that's doing stuff over there. I was just curious, Arthur, do you have direct access to the MyGet feed for Git tools? Or is it something that only Geert has access to? We're way to find out though if it works or not. So let's... Oh, creating new packages. Creating chocolate packages. Running .NET Core pack. Dun, dun, dun. Uploading artifacts. Dun, dun, dun. Publishing pre-release. You get push. MyGet. Push. Pushed. Oh, it's pushed. It's pushed. Okay, so if we go over here and we refresh, we've got packages. So if I walk up to this one now, then if I refresh here, let's have a look. Look at that. Look at that. So, Arthur, this answers the question then. So in theory, based on nothing other than these two packages appearing here, I'm going to say that this packages feed at the organization level will house the NuGet packages for all the child repositories. So if you were then to do a publish of Git version to this one, then they would also appear here at the organization level. I'm quite impressed that worked. From the command line to... Oh, I'm disappointed in that. That's not actually going to work. Because this is a pre-release. And I don't like this. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. The package is called package.nupkeg. Oh, so look at... Yeah, it did do that. So from here, it took me to Git tools. And I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. Whereas if there is a Git version 1 here, it would take me to the Git version repository. I think I'm okay with that. But yeah, this nupkeg here, if I download this, I'm going to get something called package.nupkeg. That seems a little bit strange to me. I don't like that. And also this isn't actually going to work because this is a pre-release package, so it should be showing me with the pre-flag. But anyway, so that's not the important thing. The important thing is that we have now, and this is, you see, this is a tool. So ideally this would be showing me .NET Tool install. But anyway, these are side concerns. We now have a published version of GitReleaseManager in alpha stage to GitHub package repository. And also, additionally, it would be on the MyGet feed that we also publish artifacts to as well. So like I say, I don't have access to the Git tools one. And Arthur's saying he doesn't publish the Git version ones there. So because you put them all to NuGet now, don't you? So, okay, so question. If you were to change Git version to publish packages to the GitHub package repository, would you continue to push pre-release packages to NuGet? Or would you only push the published artifacts to NuGet and leave the pre-release ones here? I know what I would do. So, nope to what? You would continue to push them to NuGet as well, but also have them here. Oh, perfect. Only stable to NuGet. Good. Because that's what I'm intending to do. So it sounds like we're on the same page. So that's good. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I think that is, I'm happy with that. So I'm not going to do the release tonight, Arthur. I'll tidy up a few things and make sure that it's all working. But the takeaway is that it works. So I was able to publish to the GitHub package repository. We have a pre-release version available there for testing, and then I will publish to NuGet soon. And soon being probably tomorrow evening maybe. And yeah, I'm quite happy that worked. I'm also quite happy that, so this changes how I was going to be doing. So if I go and have a look at Cake Contrib, then originally I had wanted to push all of the Cake Contrib add-ins to this repository to have them appear in here. But because of that issue with the repository URL needing to be the thing that couples where the push is happening, I wasn't going to be able to do what I wanted to do. But even here now, I'm seeing this. So that, you see, Enrico, he's been at it. So Enrico is now using GitHub package repository, and he's publishing his cake.curl packages here. But it's bubbled up to the organization level. So I'm okay with that too. So in theory, at some point, we can enable cake.recipe on all of the Cake Contrib organization packages, and we will have an entire feed here that has all of the 173 packages that are under Cake Contrib organization control, and it's bubbled up into here to the organization level. I quite like that actually, because I wanted them to bubble up, but I'd originally envisioned them bubbling up to this repository. But bubbling up to the organization level is pretty cool as well. Anyway, I'm coughing quite a lot now. I'm gonna be quiet now. So that's me for today. Friday's stream. Oh no, I do know what we're going to do on Friday. because we're finished with this for just now. We are gonna look at this guy, the .NET Tool module for Cake, because there's some pull requests in here to fix a bug with it, and there's an outstanding issue for the module being a little bit smarter about installing the latest version of a .NET Tool. So that's what I'm going to be working on Friday. So if you're interested in seeing what's going on with the .NET Tool module for Cake and how that works and the pull requests that are in on here, that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, any last minute questions for anyone in the chat room? Otherwise, I'm going to sign off for the evening and say that this was a success. I'm just gonna put it out there. This was a success. So I am happy. I'm gonna sleep easy tonight knowing that I've got that build working and the publishing of packages is working. So that's good. Any questions? Feel free to reach out in the usual manner. Twitter being the main one. But feel free. Oh, Kim, you still around? You remember that T-shirt that I promised you? Yeah, it's not going to happen. The mediums have already been taken. So the only size I can offer is an XL. And as you said, you would swim in it. So I will work on getting... I want all the main community moderators to have one of the new t-shirts. So I will speak to the necessary people to make it happen. If nothing else, I am going to send you stickers. But I'm gonna. So would your preference be an M or an L? The t-shirts. L. So I'm going to put Kim here as that. Maurice, I believe I've already got his size sorted. Okay, I will speak to the necessary people to make it happen, because yeah, I want to make sure that you get one. But I basically messed up when I was picking sizes on the way out, like basically on the last day before we boxed everything up. I think I picked up XLs rather than Ls. That's what it came down to. I just completely messed up. So, yeah, it's my bad. Anyway, that is definitely it for just now. I'm going to click the buttons to sign things off. So thank you all for coming along tonight. It's been good fun, and I shall hopefully speak to some of you on Friday. Talk to you later.